Nationals Park. Nationals fans have had this weekend series against the Phillies circled on their calendars for a while, and what was supposed to be a three-game measuring stick has quickly turned into a pretty bold statement by the home team. The Nationals are playing well against the Phillies here this weekend. Friday night, top of the fourth inning, Hunter Pence hits one of two Phillies home runs off Nationals starting pitcher Steven Strasburg, but back come the Nats. Bottom of the eighth, Jesus Flores ties the game with a two-run double, setting the stage in the bottom of the 11th for Wilson Ramos. Last man on the bench, pinch hit RBI single. Nats win in 11. Yesterday, more outstanding starting pitching from the Nationals. In this case, left-hander Gio Gonzalez, 7 innings, 1 run, 7 strikeouts. Jason Worth with one of 3 home runs for the Nationals, who roll to a 7-1 win. And don't look now, but the Washington Nationals are 18-9. They are in first place in the National League East, and the Phillies, who have won the division 5 years in a row, they find themselves in last place right now, 2 games under 500. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Washington, D.C. Dan Schulman, Terry Francona, and Oral Hershiser. One of the big stories for the Nationals, of course, Bryce Harper is in the big leagues. He's been in the big leagues about a week and a half now. We've all seen the highlights. We're going to see him play firsthand. I know you got a chance to visit with the 19-year-old young man yesterday. What'd you come away with?
I did. I got a chance to visit with him yesterday. Immediately, it comes across of how excited, how enthusiastic he is about the game, how much he wants to learn about the game. But you got to remember, he's a 19-year-old kid, and that also shows through. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but everything he does is going to be in the spotlight. It
sure is. He doesn't seem to mind that spotlight to this point of his career. Let's go down to the field now and find out a little bit more about this young phenom for the Nationals as we welcome in Buster Olney.
Dan, on Friday, Bryce Harper drew 3 walks, another one on Saturday. He's already got 5 walks in his 8 days in the big leagues, and that's because opposing pitchers have been very careful in pitching to him. A lot of breaking balls, a lot of curveballs. I asked him earlier today how he's dealing with that.
Baseball's a game of adjustments. You know, not every team's going to throw you that way. So you're just going to have to, have your approach and stay with your approach and not change anything when you go up there. And I think that I just need to get if I get 1 or 2 pitches to hit in one at bat, then I need to hit them. I can't miss those pitches.
And he's remained disciplined, Dan, averaging 4.31 pitches per plate appearances over the last 8 days. That's the 5th best in the National League.
Buster, great stuff. It'll be interesting tonight because he's facing a guy with superior command, really one of the elite pitchers in all of baseball, in Cole Hamels.
Yeah, Cole Hamels has been known for his changeup since the beginning of his big league career, but he found it back in high school. He was 115 pounds, and he wasn't really going to make the team. He needed another pitch. High school coach said, you need to learn a changeup. He did. Amazing how that adversity has led to the pitch that he is now known for. And then the addition in 2009 of the cutter, it's really made him one of the elite lefties in the game.
Former National League Championship Series MVP, former World Series MVP, pitching a big game for the Phillies tonight as they try to avoid being swept and falling deeper into the basement in the National League East. For the Phillies, who struggle offensively, they won't have an easy task ahead of them. Jordan Zimmermann, a terrific young pitcher, is on the mound for the Nationals tonight.
the capital, the district, the Beltway. Whatever its name, if you want to call Washington, D.C. home, you have to win. This city has cycles, thrives on constant change. They come, they go. You can promise change, you can buy votes. But in the nation's capital, great administrations are built from grassroots and always deliver the promise.
And back here, beautiful shot of the Capitol building as we are here in Washington, D.C. Sunday night baseball from the nation's capital inside Nationals Park. As the Nats showing a little natitude, as their marketing department calls it here, trying to sweep the visiting Philadelphia Phillies, who are struggling right now. They are 10th in the National League in runs scored. Charlie Manuel doesn't have all his horses. No Chase Utley, no Ryan Howard. So what does the Phillies lineup look like? Well, let's take a look right now. The lineup is brought to you by Taco Bell. Jimmy Rollins recently moved back into the leadoff spot. They're waiting for him to heat up. Shane Victorino normally hits second or sixth, but he's hitting third right now with Utley and Howard out. Hunter Pence is the cleanup hitter. The hottest hitter they've had is their catcher, affectionately known as Chooch, Carlos Ruiz, who had a 7 RBI game during the week, and as you can see, has been driving in runs like crazy. Oral, what can you tell us about Jordan Zimmerman?
Well, he's got the best strikeout to walk ratio in the National League. He's trying to add a changeup. Still doesn't throw too many of them, but the 3 outstanding pitches are the 4-seam fastball, the slider, and the curveball.
Ready for baseball. Andy Fletcher calling the balls and strikes. And Zimmerman misses outside, ball 1. The Phillies losing 4-3 Friday night, losing 7-1 yesterday. As Rollins hits a bouncer out to second. Espinosa on to Tracy for out number 1. A look at the Nationals defensively. Bryce Harper in the lineup in left field tonight. He can play all 3 outfield spots. He's in left tonight. On the infield, Steve Lombardozzi, Chad Tracy filling in for some injured players with Ryan Zimmerman, Adam LaRoche on the DL right now for the Nationals, and Wilson Ramos is behind the plate catching Zimmerman. As Juan Pierre steps in.
And they're really swung around to the left field side for Juan Pierre. And it was fun to watch Bryce Harper move immediately.
Nice play by Zimmerman. Then he drops it, but recovers in time to get the out.
Oral, I see you shaking your head.
He's a great athlete. Absolutely great athlete on the mound. And I know he was surprised that ball came out. He kind of nonchalant because he's so used to doing it perfectly. I mean, this is the kind of kid that he could win a Gold Glove on the mound. That's how good a fielder he is.
So Pierre retired, and Zimmerman has 2 outs on only 4 pitches here in the first inning. Not a household name, but a terrific young pitcher. 25 years of age from Auburndale, Wisconsin. Shane Victorino, the batter, and he'll look at a strike. Victorino, one of the guys, and I know, Tito, you feel this way, he's been asked to take on a larger role because of the absence of Utley and Howard. And maybe stepping a little bit out of his comfort zone. He hits a bouncer to first, and how about Jordan Zimmerman? 3 outs, 6 pitches. Phillies gone. Bryce Harper due up third. ESPN's Sunday Night Baseball is presented by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. And in part by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Back in Washington, we go to the bottom of the first inning. Boy, Jordan Zimmerman got the Phillies out in a hurry, didn't he? 3 up and 3 down on 6 pitches. So here come the Nationals. And here's their starting lineup. As written onto the scorecard by Davey Johnson, the lineup brought to you by Taco Bell. The Nationals, like the Phillies, have some injuries, and like the Phillies, are struggling to score runs. That's one of the reasons why they called up Bryce Harper. They were getting no offense from left field. First overall pick in 2010. He's a teenager, 19 years of age. Jason Worth hit a big 3-run homer for the Nationals yesterday. The former Philly looking to have a better second year in Washington. And Rick Ankiel with some success against left-hander Cole Hamels. Swing and a miss by Ian Desmond. Hamels right in the prime of his career, Oral, pitching extremely well.
He did. He started him off with a changeup right there. That's the patented pitch that he loves. The cutter at it in 2009 really has made him an elite pitcher.
With a run on that pitch. The cutter that runs down and in, missed the plate. A ball and a strike to count on Desmond, hitting .261 on the season. Last year hit .253 with an on-base percentage under 300. One of the issues for the Nationals, Terry, they don't really have your prototypical leadoff hitter.
You know, we're talking about them struggling to score runs, and you're right. I mean, Ian Desmond is a good-looking young player, but he's got an on-base percentage under 300. That's really difficult to score runs that way.
Fouls back the fastball, 2-2. You saw Harper on the top step of the dugout along with Jason Worth. Worth's a veteran. And when we asked Bryce Harper, or when we asked Davey Johnson about Bryce Harper, who does he spend time with, who's he learning from, Jason Worth's name came up time and time again. Change up and a swing and a miss for out number 1. Defensively for the Phillies, Hunter Pence in right field, his first full year with Philadelphia. Juan Pierre left, Shane Victorino in center. Pete Orr for the injured Chase Utley, and Lance Nix for the injured Ryan Howard, neither of whom are close. And Carlos Ruiz, still one of the most underrated players in all of baseball. He does the catching tonight for Cole Hamels. Here is Steve Lombardozzi, and if that name sounds familiar, yep, it was his dad, an infielder, back with the Twins. Lombardozzi's had some nice moments getting some playing time. Flies out to shallow right for a quick out number 2, and that's going to get Bryce Harper to the plate for the first time tonight.
The left fielder, number 34, Bryce Harper.
He's become an instant fan favorite. Made his major league debut on the road at Dodger Stadium. Of the 6 hits he's got, 4 of them have been doubles. He's taking his walks. He has a cannon from the outfield. Ooh, and the first pitch hits him right in the back.
I think it hit him in the wallet.
Well, fastball in, it gets away from Cole, and we're not going to say there's any intention right here, but he wasn't going to miss out over the plate with that pitch right there. Bryce Harper does have a hole probably inside that most big league pitchers are going to be looking for, and the other pitch they're going to throw him a lot of is soft away. But right there, he took that as a professional and just jogged down to first base.
I was going to say he has a hole in his ribs right now.
Here's Jason Worth.
So he had his wallet in his breast pocket?
You know, we talked last week. Harper was already up, and we wondered if some veteran pitchers would take offense to some of the flair in his game, the visible confidence that Bryce Harper has. That guy right there has the best strikeout to walk ratio in baseball, just about. Now, Oral, as a pitcher, what do you think?
Well, what do I think and what do I semi-know? I think there was a message there. 2 out, nobody on, first inning. I think there was a message. I don't think we're condoning violence or saying that people need to be hit. I just think there was a little bit of a message there.
I think the excitement of this game just got ratcheted up a notch by that pitch.
And I think that it's not a message of completely to change your mannerisms as much as it is respect for his ability also. If he was a guy who was an automatic out, they've been pitching him around him in this series. So there's a time and a place to pound a guy inside when later in the game you might want to go away.
Worth fouls it off.
We're also interested in this young man. I mean, everybody wants to see how he reacts to everything. And we got to remember he's 19 years old because he doesn't swing like a 19-year-old. And everything's under a microscope. And so far, even his teammates, they talk about how much he likes to compete, and they talk about what a good kid he is.
Hooked into left field, a base hit for Worth. Harper around second, on his way into third. And the Nationals have runners on the corners now with 2 down.
And he just showed the Phillies how you play the game, or how he's going to play the game. He's off at the crack of the bat. Knows Juan Pierre doesn't throw real well. Never even slowed down. Watched the ball all the way in front of him. This is good base running right here. This is a 19-year-old kid that already understands how to play the game. And then when he gets into third, he watches to see if there's a throw at second. He's his own coach to boot.
It's amazing how many times I've heard you guys talk just in the last 10 days about some of the intangibles, the baseball IQ, the feel for the game that Bryce Harper has, above the speed, the power, the arm, but the feel for the game that he has already.
He has an internal clock for this game that is probably God-given, and he's going to take it further. But for him to do what he just did right there, you try to teach veterans that for years.
Here's Chad Tracy. Tracy 5 for 9. As you can see, 2 home runs already in this series. And the Nationals with some injuries, as we mentioned, including Adam LaRoche, their first baseman. So Tracy getting a chance to play. LaRoche could be back in a couple of days. Same with Ryan Zimmerman, their third baseman. Tonight, Davey Johnson put as many left-handers into the lineup as he could to try to neutralize Cole Hamels' changeup.
And he's been more effective against right-handers, about 60 points higher in batting average. The lefties have to hit his cutter and his curveball, and really his best pitch is his changeup, and that's why he's more effective against righties.
Harper at third, Worth at first, 2 down.
With 2 strikes, you probably won't see it now. But Polanco is in position with a left-hand hitting pull hitter up to maybe put a pickoff on because Bryce Harper was getting such an enthusiastic lead. I don't think you'll see it now with 2 strikes, though.
He's coming home. Safe.
You sure this kid's 19? And if I'm Cole Hamels here, I throw over to first. They're going to play on the momentum here.
Well, and the whole key is you have a left-handed throwing first baseman. He has to make that half a step turn to get his body squared, and that's why he was safe.
There goes Worth. And it's lifted in the air, shallow left field. Rollins is back, makes the catch, and ends the inning. But the story early tonight, 19-year-old Bryce Harper hit by a pitch around to third on a single and steals home on a pickoff attempt to first base. 1-0 Nationals. Top of the second inning here in Washington. The Nationals lead 1-0 on a Bryce Harper steal of home. When Cole Hamels threw over to first to keep Jason Worth close. 1-0 fastball runs a little bit inside to Hunter Pence, ball 2. Cole Hamels hit Harper in the back with the first pitch that he threw him. Harper went around to third on the single by Worth. And then stole home his first major league stolen base. After Pence, it'll be Lance Nix and Carlos Ruiz for the Phillies here in the second. Fastball a little in at the belt, ball 3. Jordan Zimmerman, a quick worker. Guy who's come back from Tommy John surgery a couple of years ago. Breaking ball hit high in the air to left center field. Harper calling for it and is called off by Ankiel, the center fielder, for out number 1. If you weren't with us in the bottom half of the first inning, here's what you missed. First pitch from Hamels to Harper. Fastball hits him right in the back. Harper then takes third on the base hit to left field by Worth. In there standing up, and then on a throw to first, Harper coming home and steals home. And that's one way to answer. You talk about wanted to let your play answer after you get drilled like he got drilled. He certainly did that on the base paths. And what's amazing, guys, because baseball doesn't always work this way, is how often Bryce Harper does something that's not in the batter's box that affects the outcome of a game. And he's only been in the majors 10 days.
They've asked him to come up and impact their major league club, which is probably not the fairest thing to do. And he has done exactly that. I mean, this kid plays outfield, he throws, he runs the bases, he grinds out his at-bats, and he wants to compete. I mean, again, we've played 1 inning, and he's already got 3 fans up here.
Well, he's standing out there in left field, and they've already played him at multiple positions, center field too. You think a kid, you want to get him in the right place. They've already hit him in 2 places in the batting order, the bottom of the order, and now third. By the 5th game in the big leagues, batting third.
And even little things, he's moving off of his center fielder with each pitch. He's always looking. He's reacting quick. They don't have to get his attention.
The 2-1 to Nix. Up high, ball 3. Harper, as we mentioned, just 19 years of age. Uncommon in baseball to have a teenager play in the major leagues, and he is one of the youngest players to appear in the bigs in the last 20 years or so. And you can see he's got some pretty good company on that list. Ground ball weakly hit to second. 2 down. Zimmerman 5 up and 5 down, 4 of them ground outs. Here at Nationals Park for Sunday Night Baseball, with the Nationals trying to sweep the Phillies. Washington already the leaders in the National League East. And Philadelphia is sitting at last. They are 5.5 back of the Nats entering play tonight.
Watch out on this pitch.
I'm going to say, if you're going to send a message, this is probably where you do it.
Nope.
As he tries to paint away.
Yeah, it was 2 out, nobody on. That's when Bryce got hit, and the catcher at the plate in Ruiz, and that would be the time to just even the score.
Ruiz off to a great start. Hitting over 300, driving in a ton of runs. Chases a good slider away, 1 and 2.
That was late and tight.
That's why he's so tough on right-handers.
He's got the curveball. He's trying to throw more changeups, but the curveball is slow enough to be his changeup.
Just missed.
And that might have been a good take because you couldn't hit it.
Ground ball to third. Tricky hop for Lombardozzi, and the inning is over. Good pitching, good defense, good base running early for the Nationals here tonight. Welcome back to ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell. On our ride from the hotel to the ballpark today, we passed the Washington Monument, we passed the Lincoln Memorial, we passed the Jefferson Memorial. We could see the Capitol building.
And you know what's the shame of it? Is you're giving me a history lesson.
And I'm from another country.
That's not good.
1-0 Nationals over the Phillies, bottom of the second. And Danny Espinosa leads it off for Washington, their second baseman, hitting 200 on the season.
Have you said welcome to our nation's capital? Are you going to get trouble when you get home to Canada?
No. We're an easygoing bunch up there. You know that we're a peaceful nation.
You didn't just slide in your.
It's all no.
Okay. All right. Good.
Right there for a strike, 0-2.
And they got to get Espinosa going. This is the kid last year gave him some offensive punch, and this year it's just been a struggle out of the gate for the first full month.
Washington is winning not because of its offense, because of its pitching. 0-2, swing and a miss, and Espinosa is gone, one down. ESPN's coverage of Major League Baseball continues tomorrow to Wednesday night at 7 Eastern. Tomorrow you'll see the Phillies again. Roy Halladay will be on the mound as they take on the New York Mets. Then Wednesday night baseball, it's the Rays and the Yankees. Monday Night Baseball presented by USAA. Wednesday Night Baseball, both games at 7 Eastern on ESPN, ESPN 3, and the Watch ESPN app. Swinging a foul off by Rick Ankiel. As mentioned, Roy Halladay scheduled to pitch tomorrow night for the Phillies, trying to bounce back from a tough outing. Gave up 8 runs in his last start. Jonathan Neese, 2-1 on the mound for the Mets, who won again today. The Mets beat Arizona 3-1. And there's Roy Halladay. A lot of talk about Halladay this year. The velocity is a little bit down, and you don't see those kinds of numbers very often. Weekly hit ground ball to the right side. Over to cover is Hamels for out number 2. What have you guys seen, heard, read, or observed about Halladay so far this year?
Well, you know, as a veteran pitcher, there are times during your career as the innings start to build up that you do have some kind of dead arm stages. So I wouldn't be too surprised that the arm is a little down as far as velocity. It seems like the pitch selection is a little different, but that's a wise, crafty pitcher. You know, and then maybe halfway through the season or a month later, all of a sudden the spring in your step comes back and the velocity comes back. I don't think there's anything to worry about right now.
Phillies don't need anything to worry about the way things are going for them so far. As Ramos takes a strike, with Utley and Howard still both out indefinitely. Cliff Lee's on the DL, but will be back this week.
I think there's 29 other managers that would love to be concerned about Roy Halladay.
Yeah.
Right there over the outside corner, 0-2.
But the way they're situated right now, they're gonna have to lean on Hamels, Halladay, Lee when he comes back, because they're just not going to score a lot of runs.
Even if they could get one of the 2 bats back, Utley or Howard.
And they're not going to get probably the production they have seen in the recent years from Utley or Howard, but even having them back in their normal spots puts guys like Pence and Victorino back where they belong, and it just goes a little more smoothly.
I'd be a little worried if I was Ruben Amaro and I heard you say they're not going to get as much out of Ryan Howard when he's in the first year of a $125 million extension.
But my point being, you know, that even if he's not,
right,
you still got him in that 4 hole, and it gets everybody else where they need to be. Yeah, sorry, Ruben, I shouldn't do that.
2-2, a little bit low.
But you're right. There is an emotional, psychological barrier that some hitters can't hit the 3, the 4 hole, or they feel a little bit more comfortable when the big guy comes back, but they don't feel that pressure in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning when you need that big RBI. And you loosen it up, and you don't squeeze the sawdust out of the bat.
And Hamels loses him and walks him after getting out ahead of him 0-2. Well, what are the Phillies missing without Chase Utley and Ryan Howard? A tremendous production over the last several years. Chase Utley, 4 Silver Slugger awards at second base, a 5-time All-Star. Ryan Howard, a former MVP, and put up monster numbers. Now, the production for both had been declining. Utley had a lot of injuries the last couple of years, and Howard's numbers had come down a little bit as well. And there's Jordan Zimmerman, who goes around, and the count is 0-1. But the Phillies back in 06, 07, a phenomenal offensive team, but their team numbers had been coming down year by year as the nucleus, the core of the team, gets a little older. And they've kind of morphed Terry from a great offense, decent pitching team right now to a mediocre offense, very good pitching team.
And their comeback to that would be, well, as our offensive production has lessened, our win total has grown. So they have a good argument.
Zimmerman with a fly ball into center field to end the inning. End of 2 here in Washington. 1-0 Nationals.
I get one.
We'll see if that turns the Angels around. They're sitting in the basement of the American League West. They've been desperate for some offense. But Albert Pujols hitting his first home run of the season today in a win over Toronto. Here 1-0 Nationals, top of the 3rd. Jordan Zimmerman starts Placido Polanco with a strike. Polanco, the 3rd baseman for the Phillies, hitting .250 on the season. And the breaking ball, a roller to short, charged by Desmond, and they're in time for out number 1. The home run by Albert Pujols, obviously one of the big stories in the last little while in the American League, but there are others. Andy Pettitte had a AAA tune-up today for Scranton Wilkes-Barre, gave up 5 runs, 3 of them earned on 8 hits, walked 2, struck out 5, as he theoretically gets closer to rejoining the New York Yankees. And a crazy game between Baltimore and Boston today, a 17-inning game with Chris Davis. Well, you'd say he had a miserable day. He went 0 for 8 with 5 strikeouts, Tito. But he's a first baseman. He came in and pitched the last 2 innings and got the win today. He struck out Adrian Gonzalez in the 2nd inning and then got Darnell McDonald, who pitched and got the loss, to hit into a double play to win the game.
Those are days where Bobby probably wishes he was back up here in the booth.
Pete Orr, the batter, and a bouncer up the middle and through for a base hit. First base runner for the Phillies. Chris Davis is the first American League position player to earn a win since 1968. Is that right? Since 1968 in a wild 17-inning game. The other story is the Orioles won again. They just went 5-1 in a 6-game stretch against the Yankees and Red Sox.
The last pitch of the game was a really nice changeup down.
And Cole Hamels just got hit. So Hamels hits Bryce Harper with his first pitch in the bottom of the 1st inning, and now Jordan Zimmerman It's Cole Hamels with his first pitch as Hamels squared to bunt.
Tito and I speculated that with 2 out, nobody on, Hamels might be in trouble to get the retribution, but I thought with a man on first it might have saved his hide, but they went right to it. Down and in fastball and right at the kneecap. Just caught him, and both Bryce Harper and Cole Hamels professionally just taking it and taking their base.
But you know, the way it was done, it's over.
Yep.
And again, it was down, it was low. Both guys got their word in, and it's over.
2 on, 1 out for Jimmy Rollins. A pitch outside for ball 1, and Andy Fletcher warned both dugouts it's even now.
And he has to.
Yeah.
You know, again, just to protect, just so something crazy doesn't happen. But don't expect something to happen. It should be over.
You know, I love the way Andy Fletcher did warn both dugouts. He walked out in front of home plate and calmly pointed to each dugout. He didn't really try to incite anything and like be part of the show. He actually calmly did it, and it really just kind of put a nice label on it, a nice finishing touch.
A breaking ball and a bouncer down to first, juggled and recovered for out number 2. Throw to second, not in time. So second and third, 2 down now here in the 3rd inning.
And while everybody's going to talk about him hitting Cole Hamels, what's more important is that he pitches out of this inning without giving up that run.
No, you're so right, Tito, because Cole Hamels had a message to deliver. He delivered it, and then Bryce Harper made him pay. Jason Worth with the hit in between to set up that double steal. And now Jordan Zimmerman giving back the message, and it's all over with. But if he pitches out of it, then Nationals 1-0.
Here's Juan Pierre. And a jam shot grounder to second, inning over. Zimmerman does get out of it. And we'll see Bryce Harper again in the bottom of the 3rd.
Every candidate wants to stand on these steps at the end. And they don't have to be the favorite or the most experienced to win. But victory only comes if they make the people believe. It only comes if they invoke change. Victory only comes to one. And if that happens, then they can stand here. Because these are the steps where the status quo ends, where hope begins, where the future is now.
Now with young players like Bryce Harper and Steven Strasburg, pretty exciting times for the Nationals as they try to prove that they're ready to be a contender right now. And of course, the struggles the Phillies are having with their injuries. kind of have opened things up in the National League East. Miami's hot. All of a sudden, the Marlins have won 6 in a row. They're back to the 500 mark. Atlanta swinging the bats well. They're in second place right now in the NL East.
You know, I've heard a lot of people say a lot of nice things about Bryce Harper. I haven't heard one person compliment that haircut yet.
And if you and I aren't jealous. 2-1 the count on Ian Desmond. There's that good changeup from Hamels. 2-2. On deck, Lombardozzi, then Harper. And a Phillies fan winds up with the ball. There are some Phillies fans here. They tried to, with their natitude, as they call it, to keep the Phillies fans out of the park by only selling seats in advance to people from D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. Now, you could drive up today, and the game's not sold out. So a Phillies fan could drive down for the weekend and buy tickets, but you couldn't buy them online in advance.
You had to show your driver's license?
I guess. Oh, you have to put your credit card in, right? It shows what your zip code is.
You can't be prejudiced like that. Not in our nation's capital.
Swing and a miss on another good changeup for out number 1. Well, with Bryce Harper in the bigs at just 19 years of age, we first saw him when he was a 16-year-old on the cover of Sports Illustrated. The numbers in high school. Left a year early, got his GED, went to the College of Southern Nevada, tore it up there. First overall selection in June of 2010. Single A and Double A last year. A month at Triple A this year. And now because of the injuries and the lack of offense for the Nats, here he is in the big leagues. On deck right now as Lombardozzi takes high ball 1. As you said, Terry, when you look at his Triple A numbers this year, granted it's just a month, and his Double A numbers in the second half of last year, he didn't tear it up at those levels.
No, in AAA this year, he hit 250 with a home run and 3 RBIs. And again, time will tell. I mean, if this kid's up here for good, the league's going to have its chance next time around.
Ground ball down to third. 2 down. Got a bigger ovation the second time around after the steal of home in the first inning.
There's a little change up inside. One of the first things a big league pitcher will test a minor leaguer with, a young guy, is off speed stuff.
And a base hit into left field.
Comes back with a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. Big wide turn there at first base, and another round of applause for the young man. Changeup's inside first, then comes back with the high fastball. See Ruiz setting up and in. Bryce Harper does a great job staying on top of this, and as Terry and I have watched him getting ready for this game, the high pitch seems to be the one that he more consistently handles, and that is an oddity for a left-handed hitter.
He has a tendency on especially slow stuff down to maybe pull up and off, and you're right, he stays through the ball up really well.
Ball 1 to Jason Worth. Worth with a base hit, his first time up. Well, one of the things you have heard about Harper and we have seen in 10 days is how hard he runs the bases. Cites Pete Rose as a guy that he kind of patterns himself after. And again, Juan Pierre with a weak arm, and Harper's not going to take anything for granted.
What he does so well at such an early age is he runs the bases with his head up, and he always knows where the ball is, and it's really hard to teach guys that. I mean, that's instinctual. And guys like Larry Walker, Jeff Bagwell, Scott Rowland, those are guys that you think of doing that, and this kid's 19 years old, he's already doing it.
And it originates with a love for the game, to pay attention to all the details.
Popped up right side. And just back out of play. Boy, it looked like almost Nix was going to give up on that ball, and the wind brought it back and almost brought it back to the point where he might have had a play on it.
If he gets over there quicker, I think he maybe gives himself at least a chance.
Remember, Lance Nix was originally an outfielder playing first base here. But an outfielder really kind of times the wall and kind of goes back. And an infielder needs to get to the wall and then work from it.
And with 2 strikes here, I wouldn't be surprised if they let Harper run if he wants. And Phillies thinking the same thing.
Almost a little harder to steal second base than it was to home with Lance Nix, the left-handed thrower. As soon as he catches the ball, he'll be right in line to throw the ball to second base. When he stole home, Lance Nix had to turn to throw home.
Go down to Buster Olney.
Guys, this didn't take long. Bryce Harper is trending on Twitter. What a first week in the big leagues.
That means they're talking about it.
If anybody would know about trending, it's Buster. Yes. With all his followers. He has like over 400,000, I think.
And that's all. Harper left at first. 3 in the books in Washington. 1-0 Nationals. And Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell, is brought to you by Jeep. Visit Jeep.com to learn more. And the makers of One A Day Men's, the official multivitamin of Major League Baseball, specially formulated for men. Beautiful shot of the Capitol building here in the nation's capital. 1-0. Washington over Philadelphia as we go to the top of the 4th. Shane Victorino takes outside ball 1 from Jordan Zimmerman. Zimmerman through 3 innings has given up 1 hit. He's hit a batter, and 8 of the 9 outs he has gotten have been on ground balls. Curveball misses just outside.
And looking big picture, the fact that Washington is not only competitive, but they really want to be relevant. I mean, there's people here. It's exciting. It's good for baseball.
A little bit in, ball 3.
It'll be news if he walks him. He's the best strikeout to walk ratio in National League. We're over 7.
And we've got 1-2 in the ballpark tonight. Cole Hamels is second in the National League in strikeout to walk ratio, and Zimmerman's is actually even a little bit better. 22 strikeouts rather than 3 walks. One of the walks is intentional, so they should almost take that out of the ratio.
I think you're right.
So it should be 22-2, which would make it an 11-1 ratio. Somebody get on that. Now it's 22-3. He walks the leadoff man. Zimmerman is part of what has been the best rotation in baseball this year. They have a collective ERA of 2.09. Steven Strasburg gets the headlines, but it's been an outstanding job by all 5 of these guys.
And they're so young, and they brought in Edwin Jackson to be that one-year guy. They gave him some money, but to stabilize the staff and give him 200 innings. But other than that, they're homegrown and they're good, and they made a good trade.
And there's some power arms there, not just Strasburg, but the other guys, Jackson and Gio Gonzalez. They throw, and Zimmerman on the mound brings it up there 94.
They acquired Gio Gonzalez from Oakland, and it looks like he's getting to that age where he's starting to understand it. Throwing the breaking ball for strikes, and he's starting to become dominating.
Victorino with a good speed at first. 0-1 the count on Pence. Not going. And it's a ball and a strike.
Well, we talked about the Phillies offense getting a little bit anemic. And we could talk about the power they lost without Lynn Howard. But they've also lost some speed. These guys don't run as much as they used to. They used to be a very intimidating team. Not only with the power bats, but how aggressive they stole bases and how tough they were and aggressive they were.
But now the one guy that can run is Victorino.
Right.
And that's the one thing you can do against Zimmerman is steal a base. So don't be surprised if they let him loose.
Not going. And driven high and deep to left center field. Way back. A home run for Hunter Pence. And the Phillies take the lead. Number 5 on the season for Hunter Pence, and the Phillies lead 2-1.
Victorino didn't get a chance to steal, but Pence got a chance to hit this ball that was almost right down the middle, trying to go low and away. You see how it leaks back to the inner part of the plate, right into Pence's swing, and he doesn't do too much with it. He just hits it way gone.
Now Nix with a flare into left field that drops for a base hit. Well, Hunter Pence bringing the Phillies fans to life here at Washington as they celebrate a shot to deep left center, number 5 on the season for him.
And Hunter Pence, he has an unusual swing, but look at the head, eyes on the ball, extension, and he's a strong, wiry kid.
It's kind of like a rattlesnake. It gets all curled up, and then once he comes at you, boy, it really extends, and it is quick.
Now, I would not be surprised if Philadelphia gets real aggressive on the bases. They got the lead. See if they can do something.
Here's Ruiz. And a breaking ball for a strike.
Well, Zimmerman throws so many strikes that even if you're behind in the count or 2-2, you can still hit and run, get the runner in motion at first. The ball is always around the plate.
And you can tell by his delivery, he's aware of base runners because he's slide stepping, but that also might have led to the ball not getting far in enough on Pence and resulting in a 2-run homer.
Going to the slider again, a ball and 2 strikes.
This was billed as a series where the Nats were going to be in a measuring stick series where they would see how they would do against last year's champion. They're in first place, and they're beating them 2 out of 3 so far. Win this one, a sweep. Would that be 7 or 8 in a row, Dan?
They've beaten the Phillies 7 in a row going back to last season. And the Nationals have already, by winning the first 2 games of this 3-game series, they've already won the series. So they've won 8 of their 9 series this year. The only one they didn't win was when they were swept last week by the Dodgers.
And doing it mostly without your 3 and your 4 hitter.
When they get Zimmerman back, That's going to change their lineup significantly. And they've also lost their two relievers.
Two closers.
Exactly, and they haven't had a hiccup.
Drew Storm, Brad Lidge, both on the DL. Michael Morse on the DL, hit 31 home runs a year ago.
Really kind of the story of the way the Phillies kind of went to a championship last year. With losing all the people in the bullpen, the offense was a little short, but the starting pitching did all the work.
And everybody's getting ready to write the Phillies off. I wouldn't go there yet either. I mean, they're a veteran team. They have the pitching. They're incomplete right now. But if they can just keep their heads above water and hope that Washington comes back to the pack a little bit, don't be surprised to see Philadelphia reel off some wins.
Well, if they get Utley back healthy and they get Howard back.
Chopper towards second. Only play is at first. As Ruiz is retired, Nix to second, and we go down to Buster.
Guys, along the lines of what you're talking about, I talked to Shane Victorino yesterday, and he said that one thing that the Phillies have that maybe some of the younger teams don't have, they know how to grind. They've been through it, so they're not going to panic if they have a bad weekend here in Washington. And he said they have the confidence that they're going to be able to figure out a way to win.
I think the other thing is that the other place that they're weak right now is their bullpen, and those pieces can become available. In the second half of the season, that's one of the things that all the general managers will have their eye out on, and they're going to become available.
You saw earlier a shot of Chase Utley. He is here with the Phillies today, and he was out on the field. He was doing some hitting. He was taking part in stretching. There's no timetable for his return. Chronic knee problems. And you'd have to think, Terry, obviously he's going to have to go out on a rehab assignment and play some games before he gets going. Ryan Howard is down in Clearwater. He's not playing games yet. So bare minimum, wouldn't you think, 3 to 4 weeks before either guy's back?
Yeah, and it's tough to play doctor. But as you look and see Charlie Manuel looking at Chase Utley, you can just hear the affection when he talks about him.
And not only the production on the field, they think in the clubhouse, in the dugout, the way he goes about his business, that it raises the bar for everybody, that everybody pays attention to detail, everybody hustles a little bit more, everybody grinds out their time in the batting cage.
Up the middle and through, a base hit for Polanco. Nix is around third. The ball is bobbled by Ankiel. Nix in to score, and the Phillies lead 3-1.
That bobble cost us a potential highlight reel throw because he was getting it revved up.
And the former pitcher Ankiel has a cannon out in center field.
It's another ball that should have been a fastball away. The Hunter Pence home run was a fastball away. It came all the way back to the middle. That one came back to the middle of the plate also. Gave him a chance to put the barrel on it. Ankiel was looking to load that gun.
Now strike taken by Pete Orr. So the Phillies have scored 3 times here in the 4th inning. Still just 1 out. Orr had a base hit his first time up. Getting back to Utley for a second, guys, is it, and you talked about the professionalism and how he can rub off on other people, but is it unrealistic at this point of his career to expect him to be the Chase Utley of 3, 4, 5 years ago when he does come back?
Yes. But they don't need him to be that guy either. I mean, in the clubhouse, nothing will get except maybe get better because of what he's gone through, his leadership. As Charlie said, his stare does a lot just for the team. But just him being out there gets everybody else shuffled in the right place.
I don't know that any player's injury situation in all of baseball is shrouded in as much secrecy as Chase Utley's. He's like a rumor. He's a whisper. You get the feeling one day he's just going to show up and be in the lineup.
But you also never hear anybody question why he's not out there. Because universally throughout the game, he's so well respected for his being a gamer and putting up with a lot of pain and playing through it.
And a swing and a miss by Orr, 2 down. Charlie Manuel's Phillies scoring 3 runs this inning, 2 on the home run by Hunter Pence. Got a runner at first, 2 down, and Cole Hamels will be the batter. Hit by a pitch, his first time up. Now spanks it into right field, a base hit. Polanco to second. Cole Hamels is now 4 for 13 this year. That's a .308 batting average.
And this is why they like Jimmy Rollins in the leadoff spot. Look at this. This is a great swing. Look at this. You know, we've been looking at all these left-hand hitters and showing video of Hamilton and Harper, and we should be showing this. Back to it. This is why they like Jimmy Rollins in the one hole, because he can be a run producer.
Signed a new 3-year deal in the offseason with an option for a 4th. 0 for 2 tonight. Well, the other battle is going on in the stands right now. The Phillies fans have come to life this inning with their team scoring some runs. The Nationals fans are trying to drown them out. There's a sign up here above the scoreboard. It says Natitude Park. Now, this is something that the marketing department of the team undertook. Really, the players, the on-field personnel have nothing to do with this, but again, they try to sell as many tickets to Nationals fans because in past years, I guess the Phillies would come down here and Phillies fans would come down here and just dominate the ballpark. Something you saw a lot, Terry. Red Sox fans going to Baltimore and dominating Camden Yards, and the Nationals had kind of had enough. Well, some will say the easiest way for the Nationals to dominate the ballpark is to win the games.
And that's what Davey Johnson said, and I think it was appropriate. Again, it's okay for the people in the office to do these slogans, but as long as the guys on the field, and Davey Johnson was quick to say that, they need to win.
Rollins with a fly ball to right center, and Keel there to win the inning. 3 runs, though, for the Phillies. 2 on the home run by Pence, and Philadelphia leads. Bottom of the 4th inning, a 3-1 lead for the Phillies over the Nationals here at Nationals Park in Washington. And one of the fun elements they have is the President's Race that they have every night. Now, they've been doing this for about 5-6 years now. And poor old Teddy Roosevelt has never won. Now, he knocked down George Washington there. But look at George. Look at the comeback. Teddy has never won in 5 or 6 years. He's gotten distracted. He's cheated.
Politics,
still never won.
Politics are rough south of the border.
See, the karma got Teddy again, and George Washington back to his feet and wins it by a length. There are all kinds of blogs and websites devoted specifically to the fact that Teddy Roosevelt has never won a race here in 5 or 6 years. I don't fully understand this because I wasn't here, but Jason Worth won a race last year, and Teddy Roosevelt has never won a race. Wow. I looked up the standings. I had some free time today.
You have more free time than you need.
Teddy's always smiling, though. Doesn't seem to bother him.
Any stats on the Prime Minister races up in Canada?
It's I don't know if it's quite as popular as the sausage race in Milwaukee. That's up. That's big time. But this one has a follow. Nice play out at short by Rollins. Chad Tracy is retired. Time now for FaceTime, presented by Edward Jones. Between innings, Buster Olney with pitching coach of the Phillies, Rich Doobie.
Rich, after Cole Hamels got hit by a pitch, both teams are warned. What's the practical impact on Cole with something like that going on?
Nothing at all. He's still going to pitch inside effectively, and that's part of his game, so there's no impact to that.
It seems like each of the last 3 years he's gotten better and better and better. How has he gotten better in 2012 in your eyes?
I think, he just goes about it one pitch at a time. His mental preparation, his focus is so much keener now than it was even in 08, so he's developed into a phenomenal pitcher.
Rich, thanks.
Danny Espinosa is the batter. Good curveball there.
And Rich Doobie talked about Cole Hamels still pitching in, and the first hit of the inning, Chad Tracy, he threw a fastball good and tight, not going away from his game.
And one of the big stories for this team, guys, as you well know, is can they keep Cole Hamels? He's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. They've got so much money tied up in Howard, Utley, Rollins, Lee, Halladay, Papelbon. And this guy's right in the prime of his career. And there are some teams out there who are going to go after him hard. And one of the teams you think about, he's a Southern California guy, more San Diego, but the Dodgers under new ownership, Laurel, looks like, they're going to spend. And these are some of the salaries that the Phillies have already on the books for next year. Cliff Lee will get $25 million. Ryan Howard will get $20 because part of that 5-year, $125 million contract is an option at the back end. So it's $20 million next year. But you can see over $100 million committed to just 6 players next year. Can this team possibly keep Cole Hamels, keeping in mind Shane Victorino's a free agent at the end of the year as well?
It's going to be hard. There's going to be a lot of bidders for him. You're going to have Yankees. You're going to have the Boston Red Sox. You're going to have the Dodgers. You say he's a Southern California kid. Shane Victorino's out there from Las Vegas. The Cubbies will probably be involved as they rebuild. I'll tell you what, Philadelphia's put out a lot of money already. It's going to be hard to keep him.
There's that great changeup. Weak roller, barehanded, wow. 2 down. Do you think because Cole Hamels can hit as well as he can, that he'll likely want to stay in the National League?
It is a love and it is something, but when it gets down to it, he'll have the priority list in his head, but on that list will be where he wants to live, raise the rest of his family the rest of his life, where he's close to his own family, his mom and dad, and then the money, of course, and then the team having a chance to win. But every player kind of orders that all himself.
To give it a frame of reference, perhaps, Matt Cain signed a 5-year deal for $112.5 million. You got to figure Hamels is going to get that, maybe a little more than that.
I would say that's going to be the basement.
And as bad as the Phillies most likely want to re-sign Cole Hamels, they just frankly may not be able to. I mean, he's young. He throws 200 innings every year. He's got a great changeup. But at some point, if he gets to free agency, there's going to be a lot of suitors.
There's a strike, 2-1 on Rick Ankiel. Phillies are at a really interesting time right now. They have grown into an older team. They've won 5 division titles in a row, won a World Series in that span back in 2008. But do they have enough offense? Can they keep Hamels? Can they get another year, 2 or 3 out of this run that they've had?
And everybody talks about the window of opportunity closing, but I think it's important to remember Ruben Amaro, their general manager, has done some terrific things with his team. I mean, when he knows what he wants, he goes and gets it. He wanted Papelbon. He got him the first week of free agency. When they've targeted who they want, they've been aggressive and quick and went and got them.
And all those sellouts in Philadelphia haven't hurt to allow ownership then to go out and the great fan support to put that back into the team.
And Ankiel is gone to end the inning. So we're at the end of 4 at Washington, 3-1. Welcome back to Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN, live from Washington, D.C. Beautiful shot. Lincoln Memorial, Washington Monument, Capitol Building. 3-1, the Phillies over the Nats as we go to the top of the 5th inning. Juan Pierre leads it off and takes outside ball 1 from Jordan Zimmerman. It'll be Pierre, Shane Victorino, and Hunter Pence here in the 5th inning. The Phillies getting all 3 of their runs in the 4th, 2 of them on a home run by Pence. You know, we were talking, Tito, before the game about Pierre. He's at the fight for a job stage of his career right now. But if somebody will give him at bats, he can still do what he's always done. He can hit 300. He can steal bases. Now, he doesn't have any pop, and he doesn't have a good arm. But he is still the same player that he was 4 or 5 years ago.
Especially against when he's just playing against right-handed pitching. He can get on base with via the hit, not the walk, but he can be pesky on the bases and give you that other dimension of speed.
Shows bunt and takes a little bit high, ball 3.
Good guy on the team, too, in the clubhouse, knows his role. He really is a lot of fun to have on the bench. I know he doesn't want to be there, he wants to be playing, but when he's on the bench, he's fun to have.
And he'll draw the walk. Time now for more FaceTime presented by Edward Jones. Buster Olney with Nationals pitching coach Steve McCatty between innings.
Steve, Jordan Zimmerman was rolling along in the first 3 innings and then gave up a 3 spot in the 4th. What changed?
Well, he's been throwing a lot of fastballs right there, and Hunter's a good hitter. It was a 1-1 count. We tried to go away, and the ball ran back over the middle of the plate. And he does what good hitters do when they get one down the middle. And then Polanco got 2-0 and another fastball, and he just drove it back up the middle. So I'd like to see him mix it up a little more, but he's a big boy. He knows what he's doing out there.
What was the conversation between you and he after he came off that half inning?
I really didn't say anything to him. I let the guys pitch. Like I tell them, I always go out there. I don't get mad after a home run. I'm going to let them pitch the way they want to and be accountable for what they do. We'll talk after the game or other points during the game. We might say something, but right then I didn't say too much to him.
Steve, thanks.
And he'll probably have a pat on the back for Zimmerman after inducing that double play ball off the bat of Shane Victorino.
Well, Steve hit on the fact that I didn't talk to him right away about pitch selection, maybe mix it up a little bit more, but it's always hard to second guess a pitch selection until you hit your spot. And he was going away and it came all the way back in. So you can't say, well, you should have thrown a breaking ball. You didn't even execute the pitch that he was trying to at that moment. So
it is best to just leave it alone.
So 2 down, nobody on. Here's Pence, who homered his last time up. Ground ball to third. And just like that, the inning is over. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th when we come back. The Nationals coming up, down 3-1. Bottom of the 5th here at Nationals Park. The Phillies lead the Nationals 3-1, trying to avoid a sweep here to Washington this weekend. At every step from high school to college, from the day he was drafted to the day he stepped in to replace Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers has been doubted, but never did he doubt himself. E60's Jeremy Schaap chronicles how Rodgers' self-confidence sustained and strengthened him on his journey to stardom. Don't miss E60 Tuesday night, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN. With Terry Francona, Oral Hershiser, and Buster Olney, I'm Dan Schulman. Sunday Night Baseball. From Washington, Wilson Ramos leading off the bottom of the 5th. And a slow curve in for a strike. Ramos saying, when I'm catching, I'm not sure that's a strike.
Not sure you want your catcher complaining to the umpire about something being called a strike.
Yeah. Change-up, swing and a miss. Strikeout number 6 for Hamels.
He's been outstanding tonight. Both sides of the plate, a lot of different pitches. When you can throw your pitches to the left side of the plate, there's the change-up, there's the 2-seamer in there, and then the 4-seamer up. And then you go to the right side of the plate, you cut it in on him, and then you can throw your curveball in there if you want, and then the 4-seamer inside gets people out in the strike zone and out of the strike zone.
Swing and a miss by Jordan Zimmerman. Hamels through 4 1/3 has given up a run on 2 hits. He has walked a batter, hit a batter. That was Bryce Harper when he struck out 6. All 6 of the strikeouts swinging. Ball 2.
He's not in the middle of the plate very often. He's around the edges. And then when he's in the middle of the plate, a little bit more of changing speeds.
And it's not straight. It's either cutting or he's got the changeup that has some depth to it. And you're right, he doesn't stay in the middle of the plate very often.
We've got 2 pitchers tonight, too. They get the ball back, and they are ready to throw that next pitch. They're all business tonight.
I'm just not used to seeing a Sunday night game go this fast.
Don't get us started. 3-2 in the air to right center. Who will it be? A near collision as Victorino cuts right in front of Pence to make the catch. 2 down. We talked a little bit about the impending free agency of Cole Hamels. Buster Olney has more.
Guys, there has not been any recent progress in the talks between Cole Hamels and the Phillies. The market price, of course, as you mentioned, was set when Matt Cain agreed to his 5-year, $112.5 million deal. But I've talked to agents who absolutely believe Hamels could get 6 years as a free agent this fall. Now, Hamels has not set any kind of a deadline on the Phillies for negotiations, but at some point this summer, and it's probably going to be sometime in the next 2 months, they may reach a tipping point where Hamels figures, you know what, I'm so close to free agency, I might as well go and test it and maybe bring in teams like the Cubs, like the Dodgers.
All right, Buster, thank you. Ian Desmond with a high drive, left center field. Extra bases for Desmond. He's around second. And into third and a head first slide.
And we talked about Desmond being so aggressive at the plate. This is the plus side of it. First pitch catches way too much of the plate, and he almost hits it out of the ballpark. I mean, for a guy hitting leadoff, he swings at the first pitch almost more than anybody in the game. But the good news is he hits it.
A 2-out triple for Desmond here in the bottom of the 5th. The batter Lombardozzi. Lombardozzi has flied out and grounded out. He is 6 for 12 in the series. Getting some playing time in the absence of Ryan Zimmerman, out with a shoulder injury. Should be back and active for the Nationals' next game Tuesday. He hooks the ball down the left field line, but he is out in front.
There's some hope in the cheers here in the ballpark because game 1 they fell behind with Strasburg on the mound and they had a big comeback against these Phillies.
Bryce Harper on deck, hoping for an opportunity this inning. Harper's been hit by a pitch, wound up stealing home, and has also had a base hit in his 2 plate appearances tonight. Off the end of the bat, back to the mound, and the inning is over as the Desmond triple is stranded at third. A Baseball Tonight update comes your way after this break. One of the crazier games, and that's saying something when you talk about the Red Sox at Fenway Park. The Orioles win again. They beat Boston 9-6 in 17 innings. First baseman Chris Davis, 0 for 8, 5 strikeouts as a hitter, and 2 scoreless innings as a pitcher to get the win tonight. Adam Jones hit the home run off Darnell McDonald, the Red Sox outfielder, in the top of the 17th. Baltimore has won 5 in a row. 6-hour and 7-minute game. Longest regular season game in Red Sox history. Nice play on the mound by Zimmerman, and Nix has retired 1 down. Carlos Ruiz will be the batter. What do you guys make of the Orioles? I mean, they're a team that is making you stand up and take notice of them right now. They're 19-9. They've won 5 in a row. They start a series with Texas tomorrow. Their pitching has been great. Their bullpen has been outstanding so far this year.
And last week we were talking about Buck Showalter going to the Orioles and how they've played the game with respect, and you have to play him tough since he's been there. And you look up a week later, and they're playing really good baseball.
Ruiz chases. It's 0-2. We talked about the National League East with the Phillies injuries. The Nationals playing well. How wide open that division appears to be. Things are pretty interesting in the American League East as well. Tampa Bay and Baltimore up at the top. Then the Blue Jays, Yankees, and the Red Sox bringing up the rear right now. They're 11-16. 7 games back of the first place Rays.
Those Rays are pitching really, really well. It's amazing how they put that bullpen back together every year.
So the loss today, Oakland beat them 9-5. Brandon Inge hit a 3-run homer. He's with the A's now. Hit a 3-run homer for the A's in that win over the Rays.
What do they say? Good things happen to good people?
You got that right.
Yeah, he is a good person.
No swing on the appeal. 2-2.
You know, earlier we were talking about Ruben Amaro and the good things he's done with Philadelphia. Mike Rizzo and his crew here, you know, they deserve a pat on the back. Yep. They put together a really exciting young team.
They've got some mileage out of their top draft picks.
That ball will stay fair. And the tag applied by Tracy at first. A nice play to get Ruiz for the second out. You mentioned the top draft picks. One of them, of course, we've been talking about tonight. Bryce Harper. Buster only spent some time with him before the game and asked him when he found out he was getting called up to the big leagues, who was the first person he called?
I actually called my pops. You know, I just called him and said, hey, I'll be in LA, so you know, you and Mom need to go down there and get things situated and you know, be at the game. So you know, that was a pretty good moment for me and them, and you know, I love my family very much, so you know, be able to share that moment with them, I think was a pretty great experience to do that.
You know, and sometimes, and Terry, you talked about this, spending some time with him yesterday. There's a ball lined to shallow right field. Worth can't make the catch, and he's injured.
And he's hurt.
Oh boy. And did he get that wrist caught underneath him when he tried to make the sliding catch?
He reacted so quickly when he tried to make that catch. He knew he was hurt. He knew he was hurt in a hurry. Ow.
Put a lot of pressure on that forearm.
Well, if we get any news of the severity of the injury, we'll pass it along as soon as we can. You can see him hyperextending, if you will, that left wrist as he tried to make the catch, and still clutching it as he makes his way toward the Nationals clubhouse. Xavier Nady into play right field. Well, the Nationals, we've talked a lot about Utley and Howard being out for the Phillies. The Nationals have their own lengthy list of injuries that we have alluded to. As mentioned, Ryan Zimmerman, they hope will be back on Tuesday, but Michael Morse, who had 31 home runs last year, was out at least until early June. Mark DeRosa just went on the DL. Shin-Ming Wang is pitching in the minors, hoping to get him back in the rotation soon. And then two key relievers, Drew Storen and Brad Lidge, both on the DL as well. Yet the Nationals are 18-9.
And in our chat with Davey Johnson today, one of us asked him about what it would be like to have Zimmerman back and start to get his team in order, because Zimmerman is 2 days away, and now it looks like they're going to lose Worth. That's tough.
And really, had the Nationals not had the run of injuries that they've had, Bryce Harper's not in the majors. They called him up just because of all the injuries they've had and the anemic offense they've had at times as a result. Pete Orr, the batter, 1 for 2. And a mile-high pop-up near the mound ends the inning. To the bottom of the 6th, Worth injured. Harper will lead it off when we come back. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell, is brought to you by Snow White and the Huntsman, from the producer of Alice in Wonderland, in theaters June 1st. We love this time-lapse stuff here as we move it tonight at the Jefferson Memorial.
Those aren't fireflies, those are airplanes.
To the bottom of the 6th. That's cool looking stuff. The Nationals coming up here, trailing the Phillies 3-1. Harper bunts it back to the mound, and Hamels makes the play for the first out. So Harper's been hit by a pitch, stole home, singled, and then grounded out. Down to the field with Buster Olney.
Guys, Jason Worth hurt his left wrist on that play, it appeared, and he has a really difficult injury history with that left wrist. In the spring of 2005, he was hit by a pitch by A.J. Burnett. It bothered him all year. He was limited to 102 games that year. He had to go extensive surgery, so much so that he didn't play at all in 2006. And then when he came back, of course, that's when he revitalized his career. But that left wrist has been troublesome for him in the past.
All right, Buster, thank you. And again, we don't know the severity of it. All we could see is that whatever it was instant significant pain for Jason Worth, Terry, the way that he reacted.
Yeah, and again, you can't ever play doctor, but when you watch this and watch his reaction, you know he's hurt. He knew right away.
So here's his replacement, Xavier Nady, getting his first at bat of the night.
And this is a guy, Xavier Nady, they got to get going offensively. He's a good professional hitter, and he's gotten out of the gate real slow.
And the 2-2 in the dirt with a changeup, a full count. One of these ideal nights, I would think, Oral, as a pitcher. It's just cool enough. Good conditions.
Yeah, it's beautiful out, and he's had an outstanding changeup tonight. One of the things that relates to his changeup and weather is he's got two different grips. When it's a little colder and harder to grip the ball, it gets a little slippery, he kind of compresses the changeup back into his palm. But on a nice night like this, when your fingers are a little tackier, there's a little humidity in the air, and the warmth helps you, you get it out on the fingertips, and that gets that extra movement.
Swing and a miss at a fastball. Strikeout number 7 for Cole Hamels.
You know, Orl, not only does he have the good changeup, but he sets it up so well with the cutter into the right-handers. I mean, he just got balls going two different ways.
He does, and he's outstanding. You know, the strikeout to walk ratio, that not only tells you about good control, but it tells you that you can get people out in the strike zone, and that's what he's so good at. You know, this year against right-handers, his changeup location is so much better. It's down. He's striking people out with it.
Tracy with a base hit into center field. Chad Tracy now 1 for 3, a 2-out single for the Nationals here in the bottom of the 6th. The MLB Fan Cave is back. Some of baseball's biggest stars are scheduled to visit and appear in Fan Cave videos. Check out all the latest cave happenings at MLBFancave.com. Follow at MLB Fan Cave on Twitter and like the MLB Fan Cave on Facebook. So the tying run comes to the plate here in the bottom of the 6th. Danny Espinosa with the Nationals down 3-1. Espinosa tonight a strikeout and a ground out. The Nationals got their run in the bottom of the 1st. Bryce Harper was hit by a pitch with 2 outs, went to 3rd on a base hit by Jason Worth, and then stole home when Hamels threw over to 1st to keep Worth close. The Phillies got 3 back in the 4th, 2 on a home run by Hunter Pence. Changeup grounded down to 3rd, and they'll force the lead runner to end the inning. 6 complete, 3-1 Phillies. Welcome back to ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell. The Phillies lead the Nationals 3-1 as we go to the top of the 7th inning. Dan Shulman, Terry Francona, Orel Hershiser, and Buster Olney. Look at the World War II memorial. So much to see here in the nation's capital. Cole Hamels will lead off the inning for the Phillies. He's been hit by a pitch, had a base hit, and pitched brilliantly for 6 innings. Jordan Zimmermann back on the mound here in the 7th for the Nationals. Fourteen of the 18 outs on the ground. 1 strikeout as well. So tough on the righties with the slider that he's got. And there's a curveball that misses.
The slider gets a lot of ground balls.
Yep.
And you think he must have a 2-seamer, a good sinker. He doesn't. He throws about 90% 4-seamers, but he keeps the ball down. That fastball right there is a 4-seam fastball, and usually attributed to making the ball look like it's rising or staying straight, but he throws that 4-seamer and hits the corners and keeps it down. Doesn't really go with a 2-seam grip to make it sink.
And Hamels is on base for the 3rd time tonight. Well, one of the big stories here in Washington for people around the country, you know the name, you've seen him pitch, Steven Strasburg. He is back, he is healthy, he is pitching great. But there is an agreement between the organization and the Strasburg camp, from what we're told, that they're going to keep him to about 160 innings this year. If he pitches 6, 6 1/3, 7, whatever the case may be per start, he's going to run out of innings in early to mid-August. So how does this work? I mean, what happens here, Terry? If they're still in contention, if you're a last-place team, you say, okay, we're thinking about the future, not the present. But if you're in first place and Davey Johnson loses his #1 starter, the ace of the staff in mid-August, it's what they're saying now, and they're saying it. They're not beating around the bush about it. Can they keep to it?
It sounds like everybody's on the same page, but come the middle of August, if they're still in this, that's a heck of a decision to make.
So there's some talk, should they skip him every now and again? Should they have a 6-man rotation? And Davey Johnson told us before the game, he said, you know what, it's just not the way Davey's going to do it. He thinks, and you agree, that maybe some of that stuff is artificial, trying to get a guy a rest by skipping him every now and again. And now Zimmerman's going to get a visit from Steve McCatty, the pitching coach. Do you have to take the broad long-term view even if the team's in first place?
You would like to think that. I mean, again, they have his best interest at heart. We all know that. But it's going to be a really difficult decision. If you come in the middle of August and you have your #1 pitcher and you're in the pennant race, that's a very difficult message to the fans. Even though you do have his best interest at heart, it's still difficult.
They've done this in the past with Jordan Zimmermann last year. It was 160. He was coming back from Tommy John surgery, like Strasburg, and so they've been through this, but they haven't been through it with a first-place team or a competitive team.
And that's the great point right there. That's the one that makes it a little bit harder, a lot harder to swallow, because they most likely they're going to be competitive for a long time.
Sean Burnett, the left-hander, Craig Stammen, the right-hander, up in the pen.
Davey went through it with Dwight Gooden when he was the Mets manager.
And Davey did mention the fact that on a night like this, he may have taken Strasburg out at maybe 89 pitches to save a little bit of the stress and some of the ammo for later in the year.
But an inning here, an inning there, as Rollins draws the walk, all that's going to do is turn August 5th maybe into August 15th. It's not going to get him into October at 160 innings, right?
But you lengthened it out a week.
Yeah.
One less week of Tylenol.
Let's go down to Buster for more.
I talked to Mike Rizzo, the National General Manager, today, and he said, look, it's not going to be 160 innings flat, but it's going to be around 160 innings. And he reiterated he is at some point going to step in, and he's basically going to let everyone know this is the organization's decision. It's part of the reason why the Nationals actually extended themselves to sign Edwin Jackson during the offseason.
Pierre with a bunt toward third, and safe at first. Just a tiny bit of hesitation by Lombardozzi, the third baseman. Do I go get the ball or do I go back to third? If the pitcher can come get it and force the lead runner, and with Pierre's speed, that cost them.
And you're right. He just had a little instant here where he watch him. Should I go? Should I stay? And then he regrouped, And the speed of Pierre puts pressure on him, and now we got to rally. And it's close. I mean, again, it always looks closer on the replay where the guy has his foot on the bag. Real time, you swear the guy's foot's off, and then you see the replay and it makes you wonder.
And that's going to be all for Zimmerman. The Phillies are leading and have the bases loaded with nobody out, trying to break it open here in the 7th inning. Right-hander Craig Stammen is coming into the game. Back in Nationals Park, the Phillies leading 3-1, and they've got the bases loaded with nobody out here at the top of the 7th inning. Cole Hamels has been on base 3 times tonight, is at third. Jimmy Rollins is at second. Juan Pierre just had a bunt single to load the bases. And Davey Johnson is brought into the game. Right-hander Craig Stammen making his 11th appearance of the season. In the Nationals media guide, they have facts and stats, and they also say about him, the first line in his bio, he's a ground ball inducing machine. And that's why he's in right now, Terry. They're looking for something on the ground, maybe the old 1-2-3 double play if they can get it going that way.
And attested to how good Hamels is pitching is that Washington is playing their infield in. They can't give up any more runs.
Victorino lays off the breaking ball.
Their thinking is even if we turn a double play and that 4th run scores, it might be too much because of the way Cole Hamels is throwing the ball.
Inside corner at the knees. Slap to left field. The catch by Harper. Hamels still at third, 1 out.
And I'm not sure you can tag anyway. Now, he left his feet, but you got a pitcher on third base that's not used to, having to react to something like this. Again, we'll never know because he wasn't tagging. I don't think you send your pitcher anyway.
That's a great play. Great positioning, first of all, by the staff to have Harper there, and then Harper makes a great read on the ball and nice, sure hands with the semi-dive.
Zimmerman, the starting pitcher, looking on for the dugout. Now the middle infielders have backed up to traditional double play depth. The batter is Hunter Pence, who's already homered tonight, as the Nationals try to get out of this big jam and to keep it close. Ripped foul and might have broken his back. And he did. Time now for Better, Stronger, Smarter. Brought to you by Mazda. For all the trouble the Phillies have had scoring runs this year, one of the things they've done well, get the job done with the bases loaded. 500 team average with the bases loaded this year. We'll see if Pence can add to those numbers.
and he's tough to double up because he gives you an effort and he's got such good speed. It's just really difficult to turn two with him.
Lays off.
With the ground ball inducing machine on the mound. Another machine got on track today, didn't he? Albert Pujols.
Hit his first home run of the season.
Watch him get hot.
One swing can do it.
We'll see him next week. We have the Angels at Texas 1 week from tonight here on Sunday Night Baseball.
Really good players have a way of getting to their level.
So do not so good players. Everybody has a way of getting
unfortunately.
There.
Why are you looking at me and not Oral when you say that?
Albert's been sailing at high tide for 11 years, so you got to expect him to get to his level.
I mean, I don't doubt right now he's going to get a ground ball. I just don't know if they can turn it.
Exactly. Third base for sure, probably. Nice firm one. And third base, if it's weak, he's going to come home.
The 2-1. Up high. And concern for Davy Johnson, but the Phillies try to extend their lead here in the 7th.
The pitch philosophy here is not to give in. Your manager already said that 1 run is important, so 3-1, you don't give in. You throw it down by the knees, you still look for the ground ball. Not a basic strike.
High in the air to right center field. And Keel with a great arm will make the catch. And Hamels won't risk it. And look at that one-hop strike to the plate from Ankiel.
And that's not just luck right there. That's tremendous communication with a center fielder calling off your right fielder because of his arm. He went a long way. He got behind it and saved him a run.
Well, when Jason Worth was out there before he got hurt, they probably have 3 of the best outfield arms around with Harper, Worth, and Ankiel. And I'm not sure he would have ran Worth off. But right there, for sure, you want Ankiel to throw that ball.
And that's really good instincts by Ankiel. If he doesn't go after that right off the bat, he has no chance to do that.
So now 2 down. The base is still loaded. The batter, Lance Nix, 1 for 3.
And if he pitches out of this, you're going to see some enthusiasm in this ballpark.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to do it without a ground ball.
Stammen shaking off his catcher Ramos 4 or 5 times before finally stepping off. There we go. That's the one he wants. And he knew what he wanted, and he executed it.
I think they took the park back.
The Phillies load him and leave him in the 7th. Welcome back to Nationals Park here in Washington, D.C. to the bottom of the 7th as we take a look now at our game track brought to you by Ram. First run of the night scoring on a Bryce Harper steal of home. Hunter Pence with a 2-run homer in the 4th for the Phillies, who are getting a great performance from Cole Hamels. And they lead 3-1 as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning in front of a crowd of better than 33,000 here at Nationals Park. They drew more than 106,000 in this 3-game series. Hamels is out to face the bottom third of the order. Rick Ankiel, Wilson Ramos, and then a pinch hitter in the pitcher spot. Ankiel is 0 for 2. And one of the reasons, and Orel, you touched on this, Davey Johnson put every available left-handed bat into the game that he could against Hamels. The theory being that Hamels' changeup will not be thrown as often or as effectively against left-handed batters. Can you give us a crash course on that?
Well, it's both off-speed pitches. The curveball, of course, breaking away from left-handed hitters. The changeup fading away from right-handed hitters. And Cole has better touch and location with the changeup than the curveball. But he has started to throw more changeups to lefties now because the changeup is more effective than his curveball, especially as far as the command.
But Tito is a left-handed batter, which you were. 1-2 is swinging a pop-up back of the plate. And the catch is made by Ruiz for out number 1. As a left-handed batter, Tito, you didn't see a lot of changeups down and in. One of the things people say is for a left-handed batter, the happy zone is down and in. Is the danger that a good changeup can wind up in a bad place?
If it doesn't end up where it's supposed to, sometimes you do the left-hand hitter a favor. He maybe not be able to catch up with the fastball, and you do him a little favor, you slow his bat down, and he hits a mistake.
So mostly a lefty is mostly fastball breaking ball to a left-handed batter, right?
It really is. But Tom Glavine really is the kind of guy that came around and kind of invented the left-on-left changeup.
Now Ramos with a bouncer to third. Easy play for Polanco, and very quickly 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th.
You know, and if it works for a guy as they're starting to lose their fastball, as Tom Glavine started to do that when he was with the New York Mets, a guy that still has his fastball, if he has that kind of movement, can change speeds. Cole Hamels thinking, well, if he can do it with when he's losing his fastball, why can't I do it when I still have my good one in my prime?
Nationals down 2, bottom 7. Tyler Moore is coming up as a pinch hitter. Hit 31 home runs last year. At Double-A, hit 31 home runs the year before that in A-ball. Just called up this week by the Nationals, a first baseman, left fielder. More of an infielder, more of a natural first baseman.
And this is tough duty for a young man. He's got 6 major league at bats. He's used to playing every day in the minor leagues, and you're pinch hitting against Cole Hamels.
7 home runs this year at Triple-A for Moore, but this is no Triple-A pitcher he's facing here tonight. And he is gone on 3 pitches. 8 strikeouts for Hamels, 3-1 Phillies through 7. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball is presented by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Mas. The Lincoln Memorial opened to the public in 1922. A great spot if you're here in Washington visiting. If you're wondering what we're laughing about, there's got to be one guy in every family or group who is the butt of all jokes. That would be me.
I need to learn to use that cough button.
Nothing funny about the performance by Cole Hamels tonight. 7 innings, 1 run, 8 strikeouts. As we go, top 8. A new pitcher for the Nationals, left-hander Sean Burnett into the game. And Carlos Ruiz will lead it off and foul it off to the right side.
And Cole Hamels is the 4th hitter up this inning, and you don't even see the Phillies bullpen stirring.
Well, he's the best pitcher they've got, and he's been on base 3 times, and he's earned the right to stay, huh? He's at 99 pitches right now.
Yeah, after that foul ball coming back, this is the only ballpark where I don't worry about a foul ball reaching us.
Wow, you're not kidding.
You know?
The only thing we have to worry about is helicopters. We are way up here.
This is, I mean, we've been to all 30 parks, and there are some where you're up high. Keep going up, higher. We are way up here. I mean, it is, there we are.
There we are.
And the game's way, way down there. It's a different viewpoint. Fly ball to right field. That's our vantage point, and this is, would you say, Oral, this is the highest booth we're at?
I have not flinched once on a foul ball back, and the best thing that we see up here, though, is the base running's amazing. We could see him cut the corners and the gap, the throw that Ankiel made from right center.
We can see that, and we can see Virginia.
Here's Polanco. Pittsburgh is a very high booth.
Yeah.
Toronto is a high booth. Boston is a high booth, but no, I don't think anything compares to this.
Nothing like this.
Contrast this to Old Tiger Stadium, where
oh, you better duck.
Here's Polanco. Lazy fly ball to right center, 2 down. At Old Tiger Stadium, you could, if we had a conversation just at this level, I mean, the catcher and umpire could turn around and hear us, and we could hear them.
Dan,
that's how close you were.
Coached third base 1 year in Detroit, and I used to kind of laugh. The late great Ernie Harwell, he would put his hands up for a foul ball and would already be ricocheting off the back wall, going back towards the field.
There was like a kind of like a cork board on the back wall in the broadcast booth, and it looked like somebody had shot a machine gun through it because there were hundreds of nicks and dents in it. Here's Freddie Galvis now pinch hitting for Pete Orr. Galvis is a natural shortstop who got a lot of playing time in the spring with the injury to Utley. Charlie Manuel loves him, loves his instincts and his baseball IQ, and he kind of had the job of the spring, but he just didn't hit. Fly ball to left field. 3 up, 3 down. Bryce Harper due up third in the bottom of the 8th for the Nats. Back here into Washington, they're talking Natitude this weekend, trying to take back the ballpark, keep the Phillies fans out, and show baseball what's what and who's who here in Washington. They've had some good crowds, mostly Nationals fans, which has not been the way it's been in the past when these two teams have met. The Nationals have won the first two, but the Phillies are leading here tonight 3-1 going to the bottom of the 8th. One change for the Phillies as Galvis, who pinch hit for Orr, stays in the game at second. No change on the mound as Cole Hamels throws his 100th pitch of the night. And it's fouled back by Ian Desmond. And he has been outstanding. Gave up a run in the first. Has not allowed more than one base runner in any inning since then. Desmond has struck out twice, and he tripled his last time up, but was stranded there. Breaking ball hit high in the air to center field. Victorino drifting back, but has room. Now, Bryce Harper on deck right now. We wanted to compare his swing, Tito, to one of the other great left-handed batters in baseball. Take us through it.
And this is Robinson Cano, a guy that he has openly stated that he admires as a hitter. And in my opinion, Cano has one of the prettiest swings you'll ever see. He gets loaded, he gets back on his back foot, and he has a gorgeous wave shift, all while his head's on the ball. And then you see Bryce Harper, and this is a ball up, and his head's still. He drives through it. The one thing we didn't see in that video is the ball down off speed, where he has a potential to maybe slide off a little bit or come off his swing. That's still the one place he has to refine.
Lombardozzi, fly ball center field, 2 down.
But there's so much to like in that swing. This kid's 19 years old, and we're already putting him side by side with a guy like Cano. I mean, that in itself is a huge compliment.
The one thing that you hear about his swing the most is the bat speed. He's not as smooth as Cano. He's got some more moving parts, but the bat speed, from what experts like you guys say, is off the charts, right?
And not only the bat speed, but the finish to that swing, there's so much aggression. And again, he's got 600 professional at-bats, not major league at-bats. When you look up a couple years from now, he has 1,000 at-bats, that swing is going to be a lot more polished.
Got Jan, hits a little looper, and he's going to get a base hit out of it. And he's heading for second.
This city is going to fall in love with him just for that. Again, the swing, and he stays on the ball. He doesn't hit this ball very hard, but he doesn't give his at-bat away. He keeps his hands in, gets jams, and fights it off. And watch him out of the box. There's no admiration in this little blooper to the left. He's thinking, too, right out of the box. And he keeps his head up. That's fun to watch.
Here's Nady.
You think about how his legs have impacted the game already. He stole home, made a diving catch with bases loaded and no out in left field, and now a double with 2 out that everybody else in the big leagues has taken 1.
And you make a good point about the catch he made with bases loaded.
He didn't play that like a rookie.
If he doesn't make that play, the whole inning spirals out of control.
He could have played it safe and said, you know what, it's a hit. No, I'm going to dive for it. If it goes by me for an inside to Parker, big deal. We need the out. And that shows a little bit more about the instincts, too, that we're playing the infield in, and there's a line drive to left field, and I've been brought into this area. It's my job to try and catch this ball. The manager, by playing the infield in, has already told me that's what we're trying to do.
Now, you just saw Bryce Harper's #1 fan, his manager, Davey Johnson. Cross up there looked like maybe between Hamels and Ruiz, and yet Ruiz is going to go out and let's talk this over. Runner at second, maybe they changed the signs and a little confusion between them.
It's amazing. Bryce Harper was signed as a catcher. You know how athletic he is and how he moves. Moving him to the outfield is going to save those legs.
So he is 2 for 3 tonight. Has also been hit by a pitch, stolen home. He hasn't hit the ball hard, but he has reached against Hamels. tying run at the plate with 2 down here in the bottom of the 8th. No activity in the Phillies pen. To the right side. And the inning is over. The Harper double is stranded. 3-1 Phillies at the end of 8. Back to the top of the 9th with the Phillies still leading 3-1. Nobody has scored since the 4th inning when Philadelphia got all 3 of their runs earlier tonight. One of the highlights, we showed it to you briefly, the President's Race here at Nationals Park. As always, controversy. Teddy Roosevelt knocks down George Washington. Do you know what, Teddy?
The glasses are falling off.
Oh, well.
That's he couldn't see them.
That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen north of the border, does it?
No.
No.
I think he's innocent.
And SportsCenter is next.
Wow.
As the presidents tell us. Teddy Roosevelt still smiling, still winless.
How much does an endorsement from 4 presidents cost?
It shows those guys even watch baseball tonight.
Here's right-hander Ryan Perry, ex of the Tigers, picked up in a deal for fellow pitcher Colin Ballister in the offseason, making his 3rd appearance with the Nationals. And look who's leading off the 9th. Why, it's Cole Hamels.
An interesting move here. I mean, not that Cole Hamels can certainly has proved that he can get these guys out, but Jonathan Papelbon sitting down in the bullpen hasn't pitched since Wednesday. I thought just on that alone they might want to get him in the game.
So is your assumption, if we can put you down in the manager's mind down in the dugout, is Charlie just saying he thinks Cole Hamels is as well as he's pitching right now is his best bet?
No, I think he has a lot of confidence in both of them. I think Hamels probably talked him into it.
Hamels a good night at the plate as well. He'll be retired here, though, on the fly ball. It's the first time tonight that Hamels has been retired.
There have been quotes from Charlie Manuel in the past of saying my best closer is my starter when he makes it to the 9th inning. But when you sign a guy like that, Jonathan Papelbon, he's 100% this year. I'll tell you what, I think
you'll see him get up when the inning starts.
Yeah, definitely. Hamels with 109 pitches tonight. That's a season high.
Here's Jimmy Rollins, 0 for 3 and a walk. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th for the Nationals, Chad Tracy, Danny Espinosa, Rick Ankiel, the 5, 6, and 7 hitters. Just a run on 5 hits for the Nationals tonight. Little in, ball 3. Reynolds resting, waiting for his opportunity in the bottom of the 9th inning. Trying to go the distance. And Rollins aboard again. MLB.TV, baseball everywhere. Watch almost 100 live out-of-market games each week on your favorite devices. Visit MLB.TV for details. Rollins at first with a 1 out. 3-1 Phillies in the 9th. The batter is Juan Pierre, who had a bunt single his last time up. And he'll take outside ball 1. That'll get a trip to the mound for Ramos.
And this is where the Phillies, this is where they work. Speed at first, speed at the plate, and the middle of the order coming up.
Well, more Major League action coming your way this week. Tomorrow night, you'll see the Phillies again as they host the New York Mets. Roy Halladay is going to start that game for the Phillies against Jonathan Neese. Then it's Wednesday Night Baseball at 7 Eastern, the Rays and the Yankees. That's this week. On Monday Night Baseball, presented by USAA, and Wednesday Night Baseball, both games at 7 Eastern on ESPN and available on the Watch ESPN app. And again, 1 week from tonight, we will be in Arlington, Texas, as the Rangers host the Los Angeles Angels. If you missed it earlier today, one of the big stories around baseball today, Albert Pujols hit his first home run of the season in an Angel win over the Blue Jays, and we'll see if that gets him untracked immediately. Got to be a huge load off his mind just to get that first one out of the way.
Don't be surprised if when we see him a week from now, he doesn't have just one more, but he's got multiple.
Rollins can still run. Draws another throw.
And Pierre, not only does Philadelphia have speed with Rollins, but they got a guy that handles the bat and puts the bat on the ball, makes contact. You can run Rollins with protection. You can let him go on his own. They have multiple options right here.
Charlie Manuel has toyed with the top of his lineup on a frequent basis this year, moving Victorino around. Rollins started off the year hitting third. Again, without Utley and Howard, he's had to be creative and has tried to find a combination that would work.
And he openly told us, he said, I wish I didn't have to. He goes, but our horses aren't there, and we don't have the production we had, so we got to toy around with it a little bit.
And he said the second guessing is about the same, whether you have a set lineup or you have to change it every day. Everybody wants to have an opinion, and Charlie's really not affected by that. He's just going to study the stats, try and find the best matchup, put the people in the right place, and after looking at the numbers, he said, I still have a gut too, and what will play best.
Runner goes, and in there without a throw. Stolen base number 6 on the season for Rollins.
And here's where you can't just forget about him just because he got to second base. With 1 out, if you forget about him, he'll take off on you.
Foul to back and a full count on Pierre. Trying to add an insurance run, maybe more, with Pence hopeful of it at bat this inning as well. Victorino's on deck right now. 3-1 Phillies. And a ground ball, base hit into center. Rollins getting the way. Here comes the throw. And safe at the plate as Rollins steps on it. Pierre takes second. Phillies lead 4-1.
And what a good strong throw. It just got the short hop on the catcher, or he's out at the plate. Ankiel comes and gets it, and he's got one of the best arms in the game, and it's accurate, but it just short hops the catcher, or we got a possible collision.
So a big hit and an RBI for Pierre. There's Victorino now, with the Phillies extending their lead to 4-1.
And good heads up base running by Juan Pierre to get into scoring position on the throw.
And another guy you can't just assume is going to hang around at second base. Maybe less likely to try to steal third with a left-handed batter at the plate, but still not a given. 0-2.
And Juan Pierre getting to second base was an automatic go, because you want them to pay for trying to throw your runner out at the plate, so you are automatically going, almost like a first and third, one out when there's a ground ball to the infield. You have to run from third to make the defense pay for them going for the double play.
And a broken bat fly ball down the right field line, drops in fair. Pierre will score. Victorino is on his way to third. Two big runs here for the ninth inning to make it 5-1. Infield in for the Nationals. The batter, Hunter Pence. You know, it's a long season, 162 games, and so many twists and turns. But this early in the year, this is a pretty big game for the Phillies. If they could win, they avoid being swept by a division rival, and if they win, they'll be 4.5 out instead of 6.5 out, and the Nationals won't feel quite as good about themselves. And this one means a little bit more than most this early in the year.
There's an energy on a ball club that kind of ebbs and flows, and sometimes you get hyped up for it, and it's needed for a 162 game season. You need big series, you need big wins. You have times when you can get a flat tire. There's going to be a decision here in the ninth too, Terry, with now at 5-1, and Cole Hamels has had a long rest. You know, it's not going to be Jonathan Papelbon probably who gets up.
I still think you'll see Papelbon get up, because I think he'll want to throw.
He wants to throw because he hasn't been out there. He'll definitely have the choice, I'm sure.
All's quiet out there right now.
One of the clues it'll still be Papelbon, as we saw him stretching, and now nobody else is.
Pence just trying to drive the ball to the outfield, pick up another RBI.
And Victorino is going on contact. Even with the infield in, they have a 4-run lead. They can play it aggressive.
He doesn't get cheated, does he?
You know, he doesn't do everything completely.
Doesn't look fundamentally sound.
Thank you. I'm trying to look at, is the right word, orthodox or
unorthodox.
Thank you.
Just keep looking for Virginia.
Right.
Just keep looking for Virginia.
That didn't come out right.
Deep left field. And gone. The second home run of the game for Hunter Pence.
He might do it slightly different, but he hits it to the places they want him to hit it.
You know, I'm trying to talk about his swing and end up talking about his religion. Either way, he's really good.
And the Phillies have blown it open here with 4 runs in the top of the ninth inning. Now Nix.
Hunter Pence got a fastball earlier that came into him, not enough. There he gets a slider that catches too much of the plate, and in both swings he was able to get his arms extended, and he's a big, strong, wiry kid.
Nix drives the ball to deep left center, but Ankiel there 2 down.
There's a lot of moving parts to that swing, but he's got a quick bat, and he's fast, and he's athletic. It's just not always the prettiest you'll ever see.
Yeah, you wouldn't teach it, but at this point you're not going to mess with it.
No, not one bit.
Yep.
Brings a lot of energy to that team.
Wow, it looked like they were picking grapes.
A strike to Ruiz. A big night for Pence.
Replace your divot out there on the left.
Well, how important is this guy in the absence of Utley and Howard?
You know, Terry, you were looking at their lineup and saying, you know, they're pretty much doing what they're supposed to do. Most of the guys in the pieces, they just are missing 2 guys.
And now you look at Sanchez throwing in the bullpen, and he's getting ready in a hurry. You wonder if they can extend this inning a little bit, if they won't go ahead and bring him in the game.
Yep. The Boo Birds are out now in Washington as Perry continues to get a hit around. A base hit for Ruiz. Well, this was a tense, low-scoring affair until this half inning.
Until Terry said that it was a fast game in the National League.
Tom Gorzolani is up. Four runs in, runner at first, 2 down, the batter Polanco. And the breaking ball misses high, ball 1. Phillies and Mets tomorrow night, 7 Eastern on ESPN. Roy Halladay and Jonathan Neese. And now another drive to deep left field. And Harper cannot make the catch. Ruiz to third, Polanco at second.
It's one of the hardest balls that you're going to have to try and catch out there, Bryce. The one that's directly over your head, and he wanted it bad. You see from that facial expression. This is a ball that he knows he can catch. He wants to catch. He just maybe, just over jumped it. Got it down by the wrist instead of in the webbing of the glove.
Scored a double for Polanco.
Just like an NFL receiver, that ball that comes over directly over your head compared to your slightly to your left or your right, you just don't have that third dimension to kind of read exactly where the ball's going, and you just get it in 2 dimensions, and it's hit real hard, and he made a nice effort.
And that trip to the mound should have given Davey Johnson time now to go get his reliever.
Jim Lett, the bullpen coach, on the phone telling the dugout he's ready, and Davey Johnson will make the move. A rough inning for Ryan Perry. The left-hander Gorzolani will be coming into the game as the Phillies have scored 4 times here in the 9th inning, including 2 more runs on the second home run of the game from Hunter Pence. And it is 7-1 Phillies here in the 9th. A shot of the Washington Monument here in the nation's capital, one of the most recognizable buildings in this city. But in the Philadelphia Daily News on Friday, they decided to have a little fun at the Nationals' expense and talk about what they call the March on Washington, encouraging Phillies fans to drive down to Washington, D.C., to march on Washington and take over the ballpark. I don't know that they quite did that, but there are a lot of Phillies fans here, as always. In fact, they feel they have occupied Nationals Park tonight, and for the first time in 3 games, they might enjoy a win. It's 7-1 Phillies here in the 9th inning.
There's a new monument that's going to go up here soon for all the dogs that have helped our armed forces. And Petco and Natural Balance Pet Foods came forward and sponsored it. And it's going to be an exceptional monument. I've seen seen an image of it already.
Where did you come up with that?
My friend Joey Herrick, who's the president of Natural Balance Pet Foods, was the gentleman that helped me go after the Dodgers.
I was going to say, I didn't read that anywhere.
I've been close to that situation.
Okay.
Here's the left-hander Gorzolani, his 9th appearance of the season. Freddie Galvis is the batter for the Phillies.
I was going to say, we're watching different channels.
Galvis' second at bat of the game, came on as a pinch hitter an inning ago and hit a fly ball to left field. Just outside. You can see from the body language of the catcher Wilson Ramos, he didn't like that call from home plate umpire Andy Fletcher. A run in the first for the Nationals, 3 in the 4th for the Phillies, and 4 more here in the 9th. 2-1.
You know, you walked through the Phillies clubhouse today, and they were kind of talking about if they did lose, they're veteran enough where this doesn't throw them for a loop. But I guarantee you, getting on that train with a late night like it is tonight, with a win under their belt, they feel a heck of a lot better. So will that man.
They're not used to losing. They're not used to looking up at some teams in the standings, and they're looking up at everybody in the National League East right now.
It's just so much more fun to stand by your locker or to be in your office as the manager and answer questions about a win.
And on a travel night, always a win's better.
Phillies are heading home to start a series with the Mets tomorrow, and they'll stay home for series with San Diego and Houston. Start of a 3-team, 8-game homestand, just 2 games with the Astros. All the other teams, by the way, in the National League East won today. Atlanta beat Colorado 7-2. Brandon Beachy got the win. The Mets beat Arizona 3-1. R.A. Dickey 8 strong innings for the win. And Miami won again. The Marlins have now won 6 in a row. They beat the Padres 6-3. They're back to the 500 mark.
Don't sleep on the Marlins.
A base hit into center field. 1 run is home. A second run will score, and it is 9-1 now for the Phillies.
So this is not the Washington Nationals of 2012 right now. This is almost like turn back the clock night for the Nationals. They've played so much better than this. They've pitched so much better than this. The bullpen has had the least amount of inherited runners given up in all of baseball. They haven't given up any inherited runners today, but once the inherited runners were off the bases, the floodgates opened.
And the run support got Cole Hamels out of the game.
Sanchez up in the pen. John Mayberry Jr. comes on as a pinch hitter. Ian Hamels' spot. Mayberry, a guy, can play first in the outfield, and they really thought this might be a breakout year for him, but he struggled so far.
Especially with Howard out, they thought maybe this young man would pick up some of the slack with his bat, and it's just not happened yet. Stanford educated, probably couldn't get into the University of Arizona.
That's where you matriculated?
Second semester freshman. Can you use those words on the air?
He can.
Not always in the right place. My Bowling Green State University education. It took me 3 years to get out of freshman English.
I like when we were talking about Bryce Harper being 19, and you were talking about where you were in life at 19.
Yeah, trying to get a prom date.
Oh, we better watch the game.
Fouled back. This 6-run inning seems to have cleared out a lot of the Nationals fans. The Phillies fans are hanging in, going to enjoy this one for all it's worth.
The attitude has left the park. But it'll be back.
Catching up on the news of the day.
It's like a sports page, though.
Yeah.
You know, the Phillies need one of these guys to catch fire. And this is the guy, for me, if he can do it, if he can get hot, it takes up some of that slack that they're really missing.
Yeah, he's long and lean and hits from kind of a crouch stance, and I would think that he'd want to hang out a little bit with Hunter Pence. You know, kind of the same body makeup, kind of the same stance at the plate. Big guy trying to hit from a crouch stance.
The inning is finally over. 6 runs for the Phillies in a 9-1 lead going to the bottom of the ninth. Back for one last half inning. Bottom of the ninth here in the nation's capital. A shot of the White House as we bring you back inside Nationals Park where the Phillies blew it open in the top of the ninth. You know, I love Teddy's attitude. He may never win, but he's always got a smile on his face. And he's sticking it out to the bitter end, even with the Nationals down 9-1.
He
even
still
with
moves
the controversy.
around well.
He does. Ty Wigginton is into the game at first base. For Lance Nixon, on the mound is Brian Sanchez. That long, productive top of the ninth inning for the Phillies cost Cole Hamels a chance at a complete game. So Sanchez comes in to face Chad Tracy.
And not surprisingly, Papelbon thrown in the bullpen just to get shake a little rust off.
Down the right field line, a foul ball.
When you had Papelbon, Terry, did he like to come in these games they're kind of blowouts to get the exercise, or you rather throw in the pen?
You know, he would let us know, and got really good at it, especially for a young guy. when he needed the pitch or when he would take the day off. Sometimes we'd even call down there and give him the choice, but he was so good at telling us that we relied on him a lot.
Outside. Hamels tonight, 8 innings, a run on 5 hits, walked 1, struck out 8. And for that, Cole Hamels is tonight's Chevrolet Player of the Game. He is on his way to his 4th win of the season.
Dan, he was as advertised tonight. The cutter was exceptional. The signature pitch, the changeup was on. He used it both lefties and righties. The imbalanced lineup that Davey Johnson tried to throw at him, giving more left-handed hitters. He really didn't need the breaking ball. The changeup was that good to both left and right-hand hitters.
Breaking ball popped in the air to left field. 1 down to Buster.
At the Washington Nationals, of course, they're waiting word on Jason Worth and what his situation is going to be, but they at least have some hope with some guys coming back this week. Ryan Zimmerman took batting practice today. He's going to take it again tomorrow. If that goes well, he'll be back in the lineup on Tuesday. Adam LaRoche could be back in the lineup in the week ahead, and they're hoping to get Mike Morse back in time to serve as a designated hitter for a June 8th game against the Boston Red Sox.
So the offense for the Nationals, which has been mediocre this year, should get better as some of the regulars return to the lineup. Davey Johnson will juggle his lineup again. Morse, a big power hitter. LaRoche, a steady guy in the middle of the lineup. Zimmerman, of course, one of the key guys on this team.
And Davey spoke about not getting too right-handed dominant. And with the LaRoche coming back, that'll really help even out the lineup. Got a guy from the left side that can hang in there versus the left-hand pitcher and still give you some production.
Good changeup, swing and a miss. 1-2 the count on Espinosa.
That was a nasty changeup right there. Bottom fell out of that one.
And the 2-2. Fouled back. One out, nobody on. The Nationals batting here in the bottom of the 9th. This was a tight game for 8 innings, with 6 in the top of the 9th for the Phillies. Have blown it open. Full count now.
Well, you're not kidding. About an inning and a half ago, we're talking about momentum shift, and they got out of the bases loaded, nobody out situation.
You know, we could probably move down now a little lower with the people that have gone out.
I'm not sure I want to.
Out of play.
You never did that, did you, Tito, when we were growing up, you know? Sneak down a little lower.
Are you kidding me?
All the time.
What was your ballpark as a kid? Were you a Pittsburgh guy?
Wherever my dad was.
Yeah, that's true.
For me, that was punishment, was not being able to go to the game.
Tiger Stadium and the Phillies for me. The vet at the time. As soon as the usher started to kind of fall asleep a little bit, sit in the chair, kind of get that, like that lady right there, kind of the eyes getting a little heavy, you could always kind of sneak in. Move down a little closer.
You got to be careful with the old vet, though. They'll yank you. There's a young Oral.
It's baseball boogie.
Ball 4.
There was a bad music video back with the Dodgers that we had to do.
You don't need to be going there, my friend.
You don't want to YouTube that one.
Coming up next on ESPN, stay tuned for SportsCenter. A busy day in the world of sports. Some of the stories they'll be covering, the latest on the NBA playoffs. The Knicks get a big game from Carmelo Anthony as they avoid being swept by Miami. A crazy game in Boston. The Orioles win it in 17 innings as first baseman Chris Davis pitches 2 innings in relief to get the win. Sunday conversation with the superstar duo of Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook.
Chris Davis's batting average went down, but he has an ERA now.
And a win. And a win.
And a win. He'll take it.
That's a big win for them. Yeah. That's a good win for them.
5 in a row now for the Orioles.
The Red Sox have been very hot and cold. They win 8, lose 4. Back and forth.
Yep, 5 losses in a row now. They're 7.5 behind the Orioles, who are the new leaders in the American League East. Moved a half game ahead of Tampa Bay with a good changeup from Sanchez.
When you see a pitcher throw a 3-2 changeup with an 8-run lead, you know that's his best pitch. And that's what he did, and he got the walk, because you don't see that very often.
And another one. 2-2 on Ankiel. And a ground ball to first, the lead runner, and that's all. 2 down. So the Nationals down to their final out here in the bottom of the 9th. A reminder, the Mets and Phillies tomorrow night on ESPN 7 Eastern. Wednesday Night Baseball has the Rays and Yankees. And then 1 week from tonight will be in Arlington as the Rangers host the Angels. Wilson Ramos 0 for 2 and a walk. And a strike. Hamels will get the win. To go to 4-1. Jordan Zimmerman will take the loss to fall to 1-3. Pitched well. That 9-1 score doesn't have a whole lot to do with him. He gave up 3 runs all in the 4th. Went 6+ innings. And one of those guys who it seems this follows some people around baseball. They just don't get any run support. I mean, this one might not have worked out well no matter what, but how about Irvin Santana pitching 5 consecutive games for the Angels in which his own team got shut out?
Yeah, this is not good. Jordan Zimmerman coming to this game, his run support went down. It was 2.2 runs for when he's been in.
Yeah.
And isn't that a little surprising? I mean, a guy that works that quick.
Yeah,
you think, normally the pattern is a guy that works slow, kind of lulls your team to sleep.
But their offense hasn't been good. It's been all pitching, and he just had the bad slot with a bad offense. So the offense really had the support of the pitching staff. The pitching staff has just been so stellar. Their ERA is almost 0.9 lower than the next best club. It'll go up a little bit tonight.
That's a good point. They're number 1 across the board.
Yeah,
just about every category.
And batting average wise, they're right in the middle of the pack. They're just not scoring many runs, and the starting pitching and the bullpen have just been exceptional. And this is the night that it just didn't come true for them with the pitching. Phillies kind of the same way, though. The pitching's been carrying them, too. They just had some life in their offense here tonight.
The 2-2. And a foul off to keep it going. And it'll drop for a base hit. And Keel to second. So the Nationals not conceding any at bats here in what appears to be a lost cause, down by 8 in the bottom of the 9th. Ruiz to the mound to talk with Sanchez as a pinch hitter comes up in the pitcher spot. It'll be Roger Bernardino.
Roger Bernardino, really athletic young outfielder that just hasn't been able to put it together at the plate yet. He can run them down. He can steal bases. but he's just not been able to get that batting average high enough where he can play every day.
And a changeup for a strike. Into right field, a base hit. And Keel will score. Ramos to third on an RBI double by Bernardina. It's 9-2. SportsCenter comes your way as soon as the ball game is over. The Nationals scoring a run with 2 down here in the bottom of the ninth to make it 9-2. And back to the top of the order now for Ian Desmond, who's 1 for 4. He tripled back in the 5th inning. And a strike.
And we talked earlier about Papelbon getting up to shake some of the rust off. Now they're a base hit away from him getting up in earnest and meaning it.
Hasn't pitched since Tuesday. Backhanded by Rollins. Long throw is not in time. Desmond beats it out. And it's 9-3.
There's a close play over there, huh, Dan? But I'll tell you what, selfishly, I want this kid to hit again just to watch him. We're here.
So Harper into the on-deck circle as Lombardozzi comes up. Little stirring, no throwing yet in the Phillies pen. Lombardozzi 0 for 4. And down to second. On defensive indifference is Desmond. Takes away the force at second.
And the way this game started out with kind of a payback with the hitting of the Cole Hamels and Bryce Harper, they're not going to give up the jam at all. They're going to try and score as many runs as possible, even if it doesn't lead to the complete comeback.
The phones are ringing.
They're protecting the train ride now.
Jackets coming off out there. Little looper. And the catch is made by Galvis to end the ball game. The Phillies salvaged the final game of the 3-game series here in Washington as they beat the Nationals 9-3. Cole Hamels over Jordan Zimmerman. A big night for Hunter Pence, who hit a couple of home runs. Coming up next here on ESPN, stay tuned for SportsCenter. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Oral Hershiser, Terry Francona, and Buster Olney, I'm Dan Schulman saying thanks for watching and so long from Washington. Now, here's SportsCenter.